I was aware of what happened Friday night. I wanted to duck it, and I hoped everyone would just forget that Louisville beat Miami. But in the interest of the commissioner's poll having Miami number one, a lot of you have seen fit to continue to fill my DMs with reminders that Miami, my number one team, fell. And I just want to remind you, I have no plans to apologize for having them number one. I mean, it was a good game at least. 3.5 Chalai. I think we had it rated on the 1 to 5 scale. You remember Thursday night we do upset alerts, which apparently none of our haters watched because we circled this game. It was the first one we talked about. It was actually the last one because it was going to happen on a Friday. But it was the first one we did in-house. We broke it down and we said, if we get a Miller-Moss ceiling game, you got that combined with the most underrated head coach in America, Louisville can beat Miami. Well, Louisville beat Miami because we say it every year. Jeff Brom is a top 10 head coach, period. Which begs the question, wait, what? A top 10 head coach? Well, if that's true, why is he not involved in any more of these coaching searches? That's a great question, everyone. Why isn't Jeff Brom's name involved in more of these coaching searches? I'll tell you why. Because Jeff Brom doesn't really care to appeal to anyone. He just kind of is who he is. He's coaching at his alma mater. He's in no hurry to get out of there. He'll stay at Louisville forever if he wants to. But Jeff Brom's not the kind of guy that takes a lot of time sprucing up his resume. Jeff Brom is not the kind of guy who spends 2.5 hours in front of the mirror making sure he looks good for a potential employer. No, just I am who I am. I'm Jeff Brom. Deal with it. That's a little rough around the edges. We can't hire that. Jeff Brom, that's not a sexy name. I'm sorry. I forgot it's about more than winning football games around here. Anyway, Miller-Moss, just 248 and 2 touchdowns, added a rushing touchdown, and he got it out quick. Immunity. Miami had no time to get pressure on him. They had 1 sack the whole night. It is snap, hold, throw. It works. As it turns out, it works. Huge game from Chris Bell here. Their number one wide receiver, which I want you to store that in the back of your mind. As Miami gets down the road, they're going to they may face Ryan Williams. They may face Jeremiah Smith. They may face Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion. Just lets you know what a stud receiver can do against that secondary. So keep that in mind. I thought Miami was a toolbox offense. Those are those offenses where we think they have multiple ways they can beat you. They ran the ball good against Notre Dame. They ran it against Florida. They got shut down against Louisville. 2.6 yards per carry. It's kind of like an LSU game. They couldn't run it. Therefore, they had to ask the quarterback to do too much, and Carson Beck threw interceptions all night. Could have thrown more. Threw 4 of them. Could have thrown more. The one thing I hated watching Miami last year was Cam Ward. But not Cam Ward. What I hated was watching everyone wait for him to do something. Hey, wait just a second. Appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. When you got enough elite athletes, there ought to be a different guy that pops off the screen every week. And last year, that wasn't the case. And a little bit the other night, I felt like that watching Miami. So it's 1 loss. Everything's still in front of them. And it could be good for them. But I'm not going to say it will be good for them because they have to make that decision. They're 104th in penalties this year. They were 120th last year. So that's popping up again. This is, I think, the best team they've had. It's the collection that has the best potential that Mario has had. Let me put it that way. But a lot of people were throwing this tweet in my face that I posted a couple of weeks ago after the Florida State game. I said, no team in the country looks like Miami. And they thought that I was going to backtrack on that. No team does look like Miami physically. I've watched them play. I've stood there and watched Ohio State from 15 feet away. I've watched Miami. Miami's got freak shows all over the place. So does Ohio State. Ohio State's not taking a big back seat. I'm just saying Miami's insane. Looking and playing are 2 different things. That's why I didn't say there's no team that's as good as Miami. I said there's no team that looks like Miami. They're going to say that's wordplay. I know what they're going to say. That's an indictment on them to look like that, the whole Tarzan Jane thing, to look like that and still give me those results. See, that's where Ohio State gets you because Ohio State's not having those games, at least this year so far. Ohio State just goes and puts the pillow over everyone's face. And Miami's like, Louisville, Friday night? Okay, I guess we'll show up. So there's a ways to go down there. A ways to go. They removed a little bit of my trust. That's what they did.